Time now for some international news. Here's Juliana Olainka with Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom in London. Leaders have paid tribute to veterans and those who made the ultimate sacrifice on D-Day during World War II. 75 years ago today, Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy for what's been described as one of the greatest battles for freedom. Simon Pusey reports.
At 6:26 a.m, a lone piper marks the exact moment the first British soldier landed on the beaches of Normandy. Blue skies and calm seas, in stark contrast to conditions on June the 6th, 1944. 150,000 troops landed under a hail of artillery and machine gun fire. It was the largest combined air, land and sea assault in history. It was also one of the most deadly. 4,400 Allied troops died that day alone. They fought for a common purpose, to liberate France from Nazi rule.
We owe our freedom to our veterans. And whatever it takes, we will never surrender. And whatever it takes, we will always stand together. Because this is our common destiny.
There are, of course, people who fought on those beaches still alive to tell the tale. Many of them still just young boys when they waded ashore under German fire.
We will always remember their courage, their commitment, their conviction. And to our veterans here in Normandy today, I want to say the only words we can. Thank you.
Donald Trump joined Emmanuel Macron for a flypast over Omaha Beach, where thousands of US troops touched down. More than 2,400 of them died that day.
It did not just win a war. Those who fought here won a future for our nation.
But now the great Triphibius operation was underway.
The attack took months of planning and was kept secret from Hitler and his forces, despite a huge transatlantic mobilization of manpower. Under the cover of darkness, thousands of Allied paratroopers jumped behind Germany's coastal defences. Hundreds of miles away in England, a reenaction of what took place. 75 years later, two British war veterans in their mid-90s doing it all over again.
How's that, Harry?
That was super.
Better than the last time you jumped here?
It's drier than the last time I jumped here.
Well done, mate.
It was a day that marked the beginning of the end of Nazi rule across Europe, a day that is still remembered 75 years on. Simon Pusey, Channel's Television News.
Mexico has held a second day of talks in the US as the tariff deadline approaches. President Trump has threatened to slap a 5% levy on all imported goods from Monday unless the country does more to address the immigration problem. He says so far not nearly enough progress has been made.
We're having a great talk with Mexico. We'll see what happens. But something pretty dramatic could happen. We've told Mexico the tariffs go on, and I mean it too.
And President Trump also fired another shot in the trade war with China, saying he's prepared to hit the country with at least another $300 billion in tariffs. As relations sour between the two biggest economies, ties between China and Russia are strengthening. President Xi Jinping, who's on a 3-day visit to the country, described President Vladimir Putin as his best friend. The two sides have signed a package of trade deals. The African Union has suspended Sudan with immediate effect following a military crackdown against pro-democracy protesters. Opposition groups say more than 100 people were killed this week. In a post on Twitter, the AU said the only way to exit the crisis is to establish a civilian-led transitional authority. A former nurse who murdered 85 patients at 2 hospitals in Germany has been jailed for life. Niels Hogel, who's already serving a life sentence for 2 murders, injected people with lethal doses of heart medication, then played hero by appearing to struggle to revive them. And in America, a doctor in Ohio has been accused of murdering 25 patients. William Hustle allegedly administered fatal doses of painkillers to dozens of people. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges against him. Denmark's centre-left Social Democrats have won the general election, paving the way for leader Mette Frederiksen to take power. The 41-year-old is set to become the country's youngest ever prime minister. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Thanks, Juliana. Ailton Balogun standing by with sports news.
Many thanks, Amarachi. The Nigeria Professional Football League Super 6 playoff, Aqua United have recorded their first win at the tournament. Asteriel Olisema's brace secured the 2-1 victory for the Uyo-based team over FC Ifeanyi. Enugu Rangers also got their campaign back on track with a 2-1 win over Lobi Stars of Makurdi. Godwin Aguda opening scoring for the Flying Antelopes in the 13th minute. Achama Kamadu made it 2 in the 28th minute. Sikra Alimi pulled one back for Lobi in the 59th minute, but Rangers defended their lead to seal the victory. Super Eagles skipper John Mikelubi says he feels good to be back to the national team. The former Chelsea midfielder is yet to play for Nigeria since the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia, but he says he's confident the team can impress without him. The Super Eagles will play the Warriors of Zimbabwe in an international friendly match on Saturday at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Delta State.
The conversation with the coach, we have a very good understanding, me and the coach, and you know, yes, I had a few injuries after the World Cup, and also I think for me I just needed a bit of rest because, to be honest, I've been doing this for over 15 years now with the national team since I started with under 17. I think, you know, if you've been doing something for that long, at some point you will need rest. And I had a good conversation with the coach. Coupled with the injuries, I decided, okay, you know what, I'll take some time off and then regroup, and then hopefully when we get to the Nations Cup, I'll always be there to have the team, and that's exactly what happened.
FIFA has confirmed that the Confederation of African Football President Ahmad Ahmad is being questioned by authorities in France. A statement from the football governing body, the World Football Governing Body that is, says it is in relation to allegations related to his mandate while being the president of CAF. It adds that FIFA is unaware of the details surrounding this investigation and is therefore not in a position to make any comment on it specifically. FIFA is asking the French authorities for any information that might be relevant to investigations taking place within its ethics committee. And that's a wrap on sports news. Amarachi will be back with the rest of the news of 10.
Thanks, there. And the main news again. The curtain has fallen on the 8th National Assembly as President Buhari issued proclamation terminating the session and directing the inauguration of the 9th Assembly on June 11, 2019. Also, lawmakers in the Senate and House of Representatives have held validatory sessions in Abuja, applauding their accomplishments in the National Assembly in the last 4 years. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.